Hey, what's up guys? Houston here. Look, there's some very simple things that a lot of people overlook in order to increase their credit score anywhere from 75 to 100 points, okay? It's very simple. Again, for a lot of people, they don't do this, and it makes it much harder for them to even remove negative items off the credit, okay? And what I'm talking about is those old addresses, all right? And in reference to those old addresses, because with third-party credit bureaus, okay, with third-party credit bureaus, they're actually holding that information. So they're holding your outdated information. And so the thing about it, what you have to do is actually log into each of the credit bureaus. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make a video, and I said I was going to release that video. I'm gonna make a video that teaches you step by step. However, one of the main credit bureaus, LexisNexis, I actually created a letter. It's almost like a legal letter for them to remove all the outdated information. If you schedule a one-on-one consultation, then I'll share that letter with you. All right. That being said, some other things that can help you remove negative items off the credit, as well as boost up your credit score. Guys, you have to excuse me. I just had some of the worst food. I'm talking about, this food is so bad. All right. When they say that food is so bad, the homeless give it back, this is how bad the food. You would think that you was actually chewing on some styrofoam. And this place is call themselves a soul food kitchen place. All right. They call themselves a soul food kitchen place. And I'm talking about no seasoning whatsoever. The mac and cheese, the yams, the greens, all of it, no seasoning. They just open it up from a can, okay? In reference to their fried chicken, their fish or whatever, trust me, there's no seasoning. You come out better just going out and buying a piece of, you should have just asked them for some cardboard, right? And put hot sauce on it. Then what tops it off is they ask, do you want hot sauce, right? For your fried food. And the thing about it is that they give you Asian hot sauce. They give you, you got to see this. You got to see what I'm talking about. This is terrible. I had to stop eating it. This is terrible. There's no seasoning. And like I said, and they asked, well, how did you hear about us? And I didn't want to even say. I just wanted to go see for myself if they was actually being transparent. But a soul food restaurant that gives you Asian hot sauce. This is terrible. Okay? This is terrible. It's like, wow. And they call themselves a fast food restaurant. Well, not fast food, a soul food restaurant. I think it's pathetic, for a person to go there. And of course, you want to patronize them, but it's just one of those things. And I was trying to avoid saying something in the back of my mind or whatever. That's the reason I'm not going to say the name, but trust me, it's one of those places that gives you the worst experience, especially when it comes to food. When it has no seasoning, trust me, if you're diabetic, this would be your A1 place, because you ain't getting no seasoning at it. All right. So you have to excuse me for my rant. But going back to your credit, okay, let's focus back on the credit. What I was saying about the credit is that when you are challenging negative items on the credit, okay, especially like when you know that, hey, I don't think this is right. When you challenging those negative items on the credit, what you have to say, and this is what you have to say: I do not recognize this account, nor do I know of me owing anyone this amount of money. Okay? And that's very important. The reason is it puts them on the defensive because now the burden of proof is on them. That's the reason why I tell you, when you're challenging things with the collection companies, you never send them proof of anything. You never send them your driver's license. You never send them a utility bill. Nothing. You never. The burden of proof is on them. Okay, that's for one. All right. When it comes to the credit bureau, all you're doing is saying, "Hey, I do not recognize this account. All right. I do not recognize this amount. All right." And so I know for some of you all, you hear that a lot or whatever. However, for most people, they do not know specifically what to say. And I'm telling you exactly what to say. And that's why I told you. You tell them directly, all right? You do not recognize this company, and you do not recognize this dollar amount this company is saying that you owe, all right? The key word, you do not recognize this and you are not familiar with, all right? If you use those terms, trust me, they're on the defensive and they have to show burden of proof. All right. Now, also, that's a big benefit because, like I said, when you're trying to boost up your credit score, when boosting up your credit score, like a lot of people have bad credit and they start shopping around for loans and stuff like that, then you get all these hard inquiries and stuff. That's the exact same thing you would do for the hard inquiries. You can get on the phone with the credit bureaus to dispute those hard inquiries, and you would say those same things. Okay. Another term that you want to use is no permissible purpose. I did not agree to a hard inquiry or my credit to be hard pulled. Right. There was no permissible purpose for them to pull my credit. So now you're using a legal term that most of them, when they hear that permissible purpose, no permissible purpose, meaning that you didn't give them permission to pull your credit at all for no purpose. All right. So that's what you would have to say. Now, another thing to help you boost your credit score, and the reason that's a benefit to you is, again, like adding those authorized users. The reason is because the authorized users is helping to age the credit as well as pushing down your debt to income ratio. And again, I cannot stress this enough, is that not all authorized users are the same because some of them will not pick up the history. Okay. And the interesting thing about it is knowing how to leverage the authorized users, because all of the major institutions are not going to calculate it. So like with American Express, with Chase Bank, Bank of America, those are FICO 8 scorings, right? And those are the major banks that people would run to. But you do not want to use a credit file that has authorized users with them because they will not calculate it. Okay. Now, it will help on a purpose of, like, if it's an internal thing. And what I mean, say that you go to American Express and you're trying to get a credit card with them. Now, if you have an American Express authorized user, because it's internal, it would help you that way. But however, beyond that, that authorized user with a FICO 8 scoring is not going to help you. Okay. So you have to just keep that in mind in terms of why is certain authorized users are more benefiting than other authorized users. Now, another thing, like I said, in helping you increase the credit score is, again, finding lenders that would actually give you a loan that will not report on the personal credit. Okay. And the reason is because with those type of lenders, all right, yes, they use the third-party credit bureaus to determine what it is that you, to determine if you're in a bankruptcy, if you previously had a loan with them or something like that. However, they're not going to report, if you get approved for the loan, they're not going to report it on the credit report. Okay, so that's the reason why these type of lenders exist. And that's the reason, like I was telling you about, like a green dollar loan or Credit Ninja, because these are platforms. So they do not directly offer you the loan. These are platforms. They offer loans up to $5,000. And then, like I said, with that amount of money, usually you're going to leverage that money not to pay a bill, not to pay like a household bill. You would use that money typically to pay down some of your open revolving debt, some of your small credit balances, to boost up your credit score, so that make it much easier for you to go over to credit unions. Okay. And the credit unions that you actually want to go over to is credit unions that use a vantage score. Okay. This is your lowest hanging fruit. This is why I tell you, like, using that Credit Karma hack is what you want to leverage. Meaning that with Credit Karma, you log in and you dispute everything on your TransUnion, everything negative on your TransUnion and Equifax. And what happens is that within 48 to 72 hours, you'll see your credit score go up. Okay. And so because they're no longer reporting on the Vantage side. So that's the reason why you leverage that, so that you can go to Vantage scoring systems. And you would also want to lock up like maybe your Experian, because with your Vantage scoring systems, again, it just depends on who they're actually using. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't even have to lock it up. But what you would want to do is make sure that you are using the right Vantage scoring system. All right. Now, this isn't even FICO 9. I'm just focused on Vantage scoring. And so your banks that are Vantage score would be like BCU, Baxter Credit Union. Okay, they are TransUnion Vantage score. Then you have Veridian, which is a TransUnion Vantage score 3. Then you have NASA Credit Union, which is a Experian Vantage score 4. Okay, then you also have BMO Bank. BMO Bank is a Vantage score. It's a TransUnion Vantage 4. Okay. So you have 4 different types of institutions. You have the major banks and your credit unions that are using Vantage scores that you can actually leverage once you challenge all those negative items on the credit. And the good part about it, look at this dog here. I tell you all, the type of dog you do not want to get is those husky dogs. They are known for running away. I'm telling you, for every time I see a husky dog running through the neighborhood or something like that, I don't see pit bulls. I see a lot of small dogs or whatever. One time I seen a horse, because we have horses and cattle and stuff in our community. But for the most part of it, it's like the husky dogs, they're friendly and stuff like that. However, they're easy to run away. They run away a lot. You know, so that's one of the reasons why I probably would, if they're talking about, hey, what kind of dog you get? That's one dog I would never get, right? They're worse than my rabbit. When I let my rabbit out, she'll maybe run down to the edge of the fence or whatever, you know, and then run back in the house. But them huskies, they're gone for 3-4 days. You constantly looking for them or whatever. That being said, sorry to jump track, but the main point about it is helping you figure out the best way to actually remove the negative items off the credit. You guys have to excuse me, because, like I said, I purchased something and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And it was, like I said, now I have to go douse my mouth with hot sauce in order to get some taste buds back in my mouth. All right. But I hope this helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.